hanging out tonight. I'm working on a poem right now. The prompt is Frost from Jill. We're going to see what we can come up with in about 10 to 15 minutes. If this is your first time here, I take prompts from chat and I write them into poems. I give myself between 10 and 15 minutes, and I usually shoot for about 12 to 16 lines for a poem. But pretty low-key, just hanging out, chatting. If you have any questions or prompts, feel free to pop them in chat. Thanks for being here. Hey, Demon Gaming. How's it going? How's it going? If you're just tuning in, I do prompt poetry on this stream. Oof, this thing is shaking very badly. Yeah, I do prompt poems. I take prompts from chat and take 10 to 15 minutes to turn them into a poem and see what I can come up with in that time frame. The one I'm working on right now, the prompt called Frost. So I'm going to write a short poem about it and then do a reading with everyone in chat. So if you have anything you'd like a poem written about, I can add it to my prompt list and we'll get to it when we get to it. I've got 2 prompts to work off of right now. They take about 10 to 15 minutes as a baseline, and a little bit longer if I get talking or answering questions. But I'll be streaming for a few hours tonight, so pretty good chance I'll get to most prompts. Hey, Pizza Dave, good to see you. Hope you're having a good night so far. Hey, Bree. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'm back in the camper now, so I'll be streaming a little bit longer than the 1 hour. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're out of the hospital. I believe it's Evan, if I remember correctly. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I was thinking about you those days and the ensuing ones afterwards. Glad you're here. I mean that wholeheartedly, not just in this stream. Eddie, not Evan, that's right. I remembered the E. Sorry about that. I actually have it written down in my other prompt notebook. This is a new one because I forgot my other one at the house when I left town this morning. So I would have flipped back and checked because I did write it down. Hey, Lynette. Good to see you. Hey, Trevor. Thanks for being here. Good to see you, too. Yeah. It might be because you feel like you're on the spot, Bree. I try not to pry and poke. But I have a little index card to keep track of them so I don't have to keep flipping back in the book too. So I'll write them down as they pop up in chat and then I can just keep moving through. But like I said, I forgot my other notebook at home tonight, so I'm starting a fresh one. I'm sure you've written many poems about the shame that comes with addiction, but that's the only prompt I can think of at the moment. I don't know about you, but my addiction was riddled with shame. Yeah. I'll put it on the list. Ah, man, I'm sorry. My desk is so shaky. This thing is. I feel like I'm gonna give everybody vertigo if I keep moving it because it's just wobbling like crazy. It's very frustrating for me. Sorry about that, everybody. I know the feeling. Sorry, Pizza Dave. I'll try to move my pen a little slower. How's everybody's night going? I hope you're having a good one. Anonymous says, "What are you doing, bro?" So I do prompt poems on this stream. I take prompts from chat and I write poetry about it. I take about 10 to 15 minutes with a prompt and churn out a poem and then do a read back with chat. My channel in general has to do with my sobriety and how I've used poetry as a therapy tool to maintain it and achieve it for myself. So, just in general. But prompt poems are a good way for me to unwind, and I enjoy the dynamic that comes with the back and forth. Congratulations, 4.5 years is an awesome milestone. I hope to get there. That's awesome. And a job interview tomorrow. Good luck. I hope it goes well. Okay, this one, we'll call it 1150. So this poem is just about 11 minutes. 11 minutes and 10 seconds. That's awesome that the workday is over. Yeah, my workday ran a little bit long. That's why I was a little late getting the stream. I had to get cleaned up after work and then throw my work clothes in the laundry. They're not going to make it to a second day, so I'm going to have to get up in about 45 minutes and go grab them out of the dryer in the camp. But I'll be back shortly. It'll be just a couple of minutes. I don't know what friend of Bill means, Anonymous. So I'm not entirely sure what you're asking. Friend of Bill is AA, like AA meetings. Oh, New Boots, the break-in period of... Oh, no. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. No, I'm not. I don't go to meetings or participate in the 12 steps. I had a pretty poor experience when I went to meetings when I was first trying to get sober, and it was all around like dehumanizing, and the aspect of religion importance, at least in my local meetings, you can't get away from it. At least I wasn't able to. So I chose to not do that. I went to one-on-one counseling for a year. After my DUI, I went to one-on-one court-mandated counseling and went back to drinking for a little while, but I've been sober 140 days now, and I've been doing it myself, and I have a support group of friends, and I've kind of publicized my sobriety journey, and I've tried my best to be as transparent as possible with what's going on in my personal life and my writing, and yeah, thanks for that. Okay, before I get distracted anymore, this is Frost, the prompt from Jill yesterday, during yesterday's stream that I didn't get to. And this is 11 minutes and 10 seconds. Crystals forming as heat departs, a coldness known only to the Arctic and scorned lovers, carriers of these glacier hearts, radiating a freeze that all flame smothers. Frost lingers still on this mind of mine. Winter's breath touches behind my ears, a chill from every mountain peak I have yet to climb. Shivers remind me of so many fears. Tucked away behind walls of ice, if I freeze them I will never have to face a single scary thing. Oh, won't that be nice? Not realizing if I let it, this cold will keep me in place. Pastor Sam says, could you write about storms? I will add storms to my prompt list. We've got storms. Thank you, Anonymous. I appreciate that. Let's go with the shame that comes with addiction. We'll go to Bree's prompt next. And we're going to start this one. We'll call it 16 minutes flat. We had a good thunderstorm here in Vermont today. I love thunderstorms. They're my favorite. We haven't had any really good ones yet in Michigan. Well, in my part of Michigan. I haven't been in very many like actual true thunderstorms. I have when I was at sea a couple of times, and they're pretty spooky, but not like flatland thunderstorms. I've been in one, or like seen one of the like lower 48. Like you can see the rolling dark clouds with speed coming across the sky. It's pretty cool. I thought it was really cool. That's cool. Hey, Izzy, good to see you. Glad you could make it. Hope your night's been good. We're working on a prompt from Bree, Shame That Comes with Addiction. We've done one prompt poem so far, and we're on the second one of the stream. So, and I'll be streaming a little bit longer than the last couple times. So probably a 2 or 3 hour stream, as long as the prompts keep coming in. Oop. I'm going to have to take a break in about 40 minutes to go grab my laundry, but that'll just be a couple of minutes where I'll just leave the camera on. Get those sweet, sweet watch hours. I appreciate you. I'm sorry for keeping you up so late. I know it's late on that side of the continent. Hey, gosh diggity darn, thank you. I love my hat too. It's been my favorite for a long time. Actually, I was looking through some old photos, and I've got pictures all the way back to like 2017 with me with this hat on. It looks a lot crisper in those photos. I don't know if I like the ending of this one, but that's typical with these prompt poems. 25, 27. So this one is 9.5 minutes. Going to be getting around for tomorrow, so you're in the background. Oh, cool. This prompt is Shame That Comes with Addiction from Brie. 9.5 minutes of writing, and here we go. Looking down as I'm supposed to, unworthy of the gaze of any other. I don't think I'll ever be good enough. Is that true? I can't even keep the gaze of my own mother. What would I tell her if the call went through? I'm weak. I don't know why I even try. Your child let a substance dethrone you, collapsed on the sidewalk under a weeping sky. This gnawing that eats at my edges has me self-sabotaging because I think I can't do better, has me thinking dark thoughts, looking longingly at ledges. I couldn't answer the phone, but I'll try and mail this letter. Yeah, that's Shame That Comes with Addiction for Brie. Which brings us to Storms is the next one that I have written down. And I didn't write down the username. If whoever prompted Storms is still here, man, thank you everybody. It's very sweet words. I'm going to scroll up and see who prompted Storms. Pastor Sam. All right, Storms, Pastor Sam. And we have another one to add from Alina, Learning How to Love Yourself / Life Again Through Recovery. That's a good one. Love yourself / life again. And this one is Alina. Am I saying that correctly? And then Izzy is the relief of sobriety. Absolutely. This is good. All the prompts. I want all of them. Hey, Brenda. Good to see you. Awesome. I'll be doing your prompt after this one, so probably in about 10 to 15 minutes I'll get started on that one. Let's churn through Storms. Let's start this one at 2850. I'm glad I'm still with us too. Thank you for that. I appreciate that kindness. Hey, it's the Sober Poet. How's it going, friend? Pretty good. Good to see you, Huntress. Thank you, Brenda. I'm glad somebody's watching them. And Trevor has a prompt. Thoughts while working alone in Alaska. Being remote would freak me out. I actually have a poem about on the channel that's kind of about that. I don't remember exactly what the title of the video is, but I'll write it down and I'll do another one. Let's see. Working alone in Alaska. That one's for Trevor. Ange. Thank you for your kindness. I appreciate those words a lot. Are the prompts going well? Hey, Speedy Boy. Yeah, they're going good. I actually have a big stockpile. I've got the one I'm working on now. Then I have Loving Yourself and Life Again from Alina. I have The Relief of Sobriety from Izzy. And Working Alone from Trevor. So I've got 3 prompts in the bank. And I have a little index card here so I can keep them off my notebook so I can continue churning. I'm trying to focus a little more on writing so we can keep pace on time. And honestly, I'm just kind of enjoying the writing right now. So I'm sorry I'm not being very engaging with chat. Hopefully the sound of my pen on the paper isn't too big of a letdown. I had a pretty draining day, and I'm very much enjoying this distraction. And that's time, 28:50 to 36:40. So we're like 8 minutes, just shy of 8 minutes, 7 minutes and 50 seconds for this one. This is Storms for Pastor Sam. The calm that comes before can be terrifying. Unknown rumbles of thunder, ripping open the clouds as if the cosmos is scrying. In their search, cleaving mountains asunder. With the destruction comes the water, torrents of change cascading from above. Where some fear the sky comes to slaughter, others anticipate the flowers that they love. With storms comes the calm again, a relaxation that can only be admired. After weathering the onslaught where we begin, we have to respect this beauty when we know what chaos transpired. I think that kind of speaks to life as more of the natural storm, but having those chaotic moments in your life and being able to make it through them, and you have a lot of respect for those boring days after you've lived a chaotic moment in your life. At least that's my perspective and opinion. Love yourself and life again. For Alina. And we'll call this one 3830. Gosh diggity darn, I have a book out. I have a book out on Amazon right now, and I'm working on my second one. There's a link to my book on my YouTube channel page if you want to click on that and check it out. It's a little tiny book. It's like 32 poems, but it's called Rise, Echoes of Healing and Hope, and it is about, it's not about really a particular thing, but it is about my substance abuse and recovery, and the poems inside of it kind of detail my mindset and mood shift as I was in substance abuse and then going through therapy, and then after getting out of counseling and just trying to exist and be with myself in my sober state. And the idea for the book is to get it into as many hands of people that might benefit or resonate with those words from it. I have huge ambitions for it to help people. A lot of people have a hard time expressing words or their emotions when they're in a substance abuse mindset. The shame that comes with it, not knowing how to process because you've depended on the alcohol or the substance abuse, whatever the substance is, to turn your feelings off. You have a very hard time communicating how you're feeling in those moments. So I'm hoping that it helps people in the long run. And I'm working on my second one now, which is should be coming out sometime this fall if everything goes to plan. Okay. Love yourself and life again for Alina. Hey, Druid. Welding as seen, the firm of lightning glue. Huh. Not sure I fully understand that one, but I'll put welding. Welding as seen the form of lightning glue. Okay. Welding for Solus. We've got a few ahead of you tonight, but it's good to see you. We've got the one I'm working on now, and then there's 2 more, and then we'll get to welding. I hope you're having a good night, and right now I'm working on learning to love yourself and learning to love life again for Alina. Okay, we'll call that time 47:17. Well, we're on a pretty good track for 9-minute poems so far. Staring at the puddle, it's hard to see the rest of the world. Entirely focused on the task at hand, I respect that entirely. It's like big blinders, literally. Okay, Alina, if you're still here in chat, this is Love Yourself and Love Life Again for you. We wrote this one from 38:30 to 47:17, so just under 9 minutes, 9 minutes and 13 seconds by my time. I've carried disappointment home with me, another bottle when I only needed eggs, remembering the hate I held. I wasn't free, trapped in my own skin as if irons bound my legs. But those memories are a past I'm thankful for. They've gifted me a ferocity I've directed towards loving more. From the mistakes I've made, I've learned to love me, learned that life's bright is made better by my presence. Although the low moments have held me, they do not shape my essence. Through these trials, I have found the forgiveness I give to me. The last line gets a little wordy, but I do really like how that one came out. Done that one. We've done that one. And then we've got The Relief of Sobriety for Izzy. going to start this one. We'll call it 4930. I think I'm going to have to take a break after this one. Right before we start Trevor's poem, I'm going to run and grab my laundry. I hope you liked it, Alina. Thank you for the prompt. Oh, no worries, Solus. Thank you for popping back in. Glad you're here. Just doing my share to share music. Okay, gotcha. That's cool. Gertrude, good to see you back. Can you make a poem about a changing artwork and the artwork is the world or something? Not sure I understand, but we can do our best. Changing artwork and the artwork is the world. I will put that down in my prompts and we'll see where I get with that. There's a couple ahead of you so far tonight. Well, we should get there. I'm going to be streaming a little bit longer tonight, so we'll try to get through all of the prompts that I get, at least for the next probably 2 hours or so. Thank you very much, Bill. I appreciate you popping in, and thank you for the kindness. Okay, I can work with that. So really, it's about time. I'll put time in quotations. This is for Gertrude. Cool. I've got you on the list. We've got, like I said, 2 ahead of you. We'll do working alone, welding, and then changing art, work, art is the world, quotations, time. Thanks for locking in. Uh-oh. Well, I hope your couch is okay, Izzy. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. I hope you have a good rest of your night. The next time you are on stream, I'll read this poem. I'll read it to chat while we're here too, but I'll notate it to make sure that you get to hear it too, because this is your prompt. Uh-oh. Hopefully we can get those charged up or battery changed. I'm sorry about that, Druid. 29:30, we'll go to 60, 15. Okay, we're just over 11 minutes. Well, just under. Yeah, just under 11 minutes for this one. The Relief of Sobriety, a poem for Izzy. My life's boring in the best way. I remember last night in perfect clarity, relaxing with my loved ones, sharing about our day. Personally relieved, I will recall what's been shared with me. Did I really live so much of my life for escape? Anticipate the moments I could disconnect with such glee? Looking back now at that substance abuse hellscape, I exhale a sigh of relief to be free. Casting aside those memories now, I find bliss in the simple things, thankful to carry happiness in such amount, plucking away at my newfound life's harp strings. I would probably edit that one if I was going to continue it, but I like how it came out. We'll put a star next to that one. And that takes us to Working Alone for Trevor. Hey, Dustin, good to see you. I actually have to take a short break, so I'll leave you with my notebook on screen. I've got to go pull my laundry out of the dryer. I'll be right back. I know you can't see me, but I'm back. Let's see if I can step over this without pulling my phone off the table. Oh, hello. Okay. We're back. This is Working Alone for Trevor. We're going to start this one at 65:05. How's your night going, Dustin? Good to see you tuning in again. I appreciate you. Oh, it's okay, Bree. I can pop right back to it. This is relief of sobriety, or the feeling of relief being sober for Izzy. My life's boring in the best way. I remember last night in perfect clarity, relaxing with my loved ones, sharing about our day. Personally relieved, I will recall what's been shared with me. Did I really live so much of my life for escape? Anticipate the moments I could disconnect with such glee? Looking back now at that substance abuse hellscape, I exhale a sigh of relief to be free. Casting aside those memories now, I find bliss in the simple things, thankful to carry happiness in such amount, plucking away at my newfound life's harpstrings. I think Jay is matching socks at the moment. No worries, Bree. Thank you for being here. Back in a few, he will be. I think my chat might be lagging. Not sure. I wouldn't be surprised being in the camper, but if you can hear me, could you just let me know? Try to time it here. See what the delay is. Even just a simple thumbs up or something, just so I can see it. I'd appreciate it. I can hear you. Okay, there's not that big of a lag then. It's like 10 or 12 seconds. That's not too bad. Thank you, Trevor. In January, I had a stroke with 2 brain clots in my sleep. I was paralyzed. I was on a podcast called Let's Talk Stroke. Just type in Cody Dewberry. Man, that's wild, Cody. I'm gonna write that down. Definitely will check that out. That's absolutely insane. I'm glad that you're here. That's scary shit. Yeah, that's crazy. I can't imagine that either. I think that I don't necessarily agree. There's a lot of variables and unknown information there, but I'll have to listen to that podcast. My wife's cat saved me. Man, I'll have to like cats now. Damn. That's insane. I haven't had a cat since I was very, very young. Been a dog person. Well, I've had a dog household for most of the time since that first cat went. I like those names. Those are good cat names, Ange. Have a good night, Pizza Dave. Thank you for hanging out. Let's call this one 7805. So this one's exactly 13 minutes. This is working alone for Trevor. The bags are double-checked beforehand, batteries topped off, and a spare packed. Mostly for peace of mind. There's no service in no man's land. Just the elements and happy thoughts stacked. High against the workload, comfort comes from that to-do list. If I don't think about the fact I'm alone, it makes the miles behind that windshield worth it. I used to warm up with whiskey, but now my mind doesn't mind the alone. I only feel bad for the loved ones that miss me, and end every week racing home. There's only one part of that I don't really like, and it's if now my mind doesn't mind, but now my mind doesn't mind. I'd probably change one of those words if I was to edit it a little bit, but I'll leave it the way it is for now, and we'll move on to the next prompt. Cats and Tats. Okay, I've seen that username pop up on my YouTube comments too. That's cool. A poem for Jon Snow the cat. I hope you like it, Trevor. Thank you for the prompt. I don't have Super Chat. I don't have any of the donation stuff set up yet. I need to, I don't remember how many, it's like 3,000 watch hours or something like that before I'm eligible to turn that stuff on. But no, I'm just doing this to unwind and hang out. I'm good with that one. We're on to welding. This is for Solus Druid. And we're going to start this one at 80, 50. My mind would be on the wildlife. Yeah, I don't really worry about the wildlife so much, honestly. Like, even working by myself, most wildlife up here is not going to mess with you unless you mess with it, at least in my personal experience. I've walked around the back of my truck, and I've had a black bear walk around the other side of my truck, and we kind of saw each other at the same time, and I think he was more scared of me than I was of him in that moment. I still jumped up on the side of my truck, but I mean, he was 200 yards away by the time I got up on the truck and turned around to look at him. Not 200 yards, probably 200 feet, but he was moving away pretty quick. He didn't want to be around me. Moose are probably the most nerve-wracking. Oh, that's what I would have done with it too. But my very first winter working alone, I did have a moment where I got a little sketched out. I got out of the truck and walking over to one of my assets to do an inspection. I see these tracks and I go over to look at them, and it's a grizzly bear, and I could put both of my boots in one of its footprints. And it was late in the year. I think it was probably the end of October, early November. It's like, well, you shouldn't be awake. You're probably hungry. I'm gonna hang out in the truck for a while. So how much is orange juice in Alaska? The last time I bought Simply Orange, we got a half gallon. It was like $3.99, $4, something like that. Like, I think we talked about this last time on stream. Where I'm at, the groceries aren't that ridiculous. At least some of them. Some stuff is. Where I'm at now, where the man camp's at outside of Denali, if I go to the grocery store, things are a little bit more expensive. But like in Fairbanks, it's pretty reasonable. It's like a regular grocery store. Have a good night, Bree. Thank you for hanging out. I had a coyote run in front of me a couple of days ago. On the highway, or were you out on a walk? Or coyotes never really freak me out unless there's 30 of them, or you know, a lot. Yeah. Nighttime is it's a little different. Everything is a little bit spookier in the dark. Yeah, that's how I feel about Texas too, Cody. It feels like a whole nother place. Like it's just a different place entirely. But I think you can get that sensation. It's kind of like Alaska. You can drive in Alaska and stay in Alaska the whole time, and it feels like a totally different location. I imagine Texas is probably the same way, just because of the size. You drive for 4 or 5 hours, and it's just a completely different landscape, different everything. Feels like you're on vacation, but you're in the same place. Holy cow. That's pretty cold. Yeah, I don't think we have cockroaches naturally occurring in Alaska either, Gertrude. I don't believe so. I've seen them up here, but they were in a terrarium. One of my old friends used to keep cockroaches as feeders for reptiles and stuff. But I don't think they would survive our winters without the right circumstances. I'm sure they exist where they could, but I don't know of that naturally occurring. Hey, Stone, good to see you. Glad you could make it. Have a good night, Ange. I've got your Jon Snow poem on the list, so if it doesn't make it to this stream, or you can come back, and we're at 87 minutes, so like an hour and 27 be a spot to start looking. I'm working on Welding, and then there's one more after this one, and then the Jon Snow poem, so probably around the 2-hour mark, maybe an hour 45. Oh, happy birthday, Stoney. I think I remember seeing that in the comments that your birthday was coming up. I'm excited. I think it should be an international holiday. I think it is for you. I think that's good. That's cool. It's a small world. That's neat. It's a nice place. 5 minutes away. Ever seen UFO activity in Alaska? I have seen satellites move in ways that I can't explain, but nothing directly I've seen a satellite take a 90-degree turn, but that's it. Not anything close up, no tractor beams, nothing like that. That's pretty neat. Good job, Gertrude. Call it 9717. Okay. I hope that this one does justice to your prompt. So let's, what I took away from your prompt was focusing and welding as that, and I just kind of went with it. It's a little bit abstract, but hopefully it does justice to what you had envisioned. So, this is welding for Soulless Druid, and it took me just about 16 minutes. Arcing from my fingers, lightning becomes my brush. As the outside world fades away, I paint. Brushstrokes of mirror like puddles, perfection I cannot rush. burnt leathers and blackened hands, a blue-collar saint. I create from scraps of nothing and junk, utility items and art all the same. Into this trance I have ever so firmly sunk, painting with the sun itself, welding's the name. When the rest of my peripherals fall away, I follow the puddle glowing brightly, focused ever so intently I need not say. Look at me, you fools, I'm drawing with lightning. Yeah, hopefully that one came out okay. I like it, but I have a little bit of a jaded opinion. I'd change a little bit of the last part. I'd probably rework that when I go back through and edit it, but I'm pretty happy with it for 16 minutes. That takes us through this. Uh-oh, is my connection dropped? I'm here too, but it only shows one. Let's see. Oh, I can't click on that to open it. I'm not sure. We'll keep moving. It still says I'm live. I don't see any spikes in my connection on that front. But everybody's still here. We're on to time or changing artwork, and the art is the world for Gertrude. We'll put it in quotes for time. That is the world. Everything seems good to me. I appreciate you, Stoney. It means a lot. Let's start this one. We'll call it 130. What is the topic again? So the topic for the next prompt poem is going to be changing art changing art and art is the world, or how time changes things is what I interpreted it to be. That's what I have written down on my little index card here. But the topic for the last one that I just read was welding from Soulless Druid, or being focused on the act of it. I don't remember the exact prompt, but what I wrote down was welding on my prompt card. So It would depend on the bones, Tony. It's not uncommon for canines to have that kind of debris, but if it's fully formed and you can still make out bones, if it's a small pile, it's more likely, at least in Alaska, it's more likely an owl. I forget the name of it, but owl castings, because they don't digest the bones or calcium stuff. They'll like eat the animal whole, digest what they can digest, and then the stuff that they can't eat just gets ejected, and it's like a little, I don't know, it looks like a turd, but it's not. It's like really dry and bound up with bones and stuff. We had to dissect them in biology class when I was in school. Waiting for John to fold his socks. That will not happen. We will be waiting a long time for me to fold my socks on stream. I don't match them, I don't fold them. I just grab two that fit. And I try to buy generically the same ones all the time. Would you eat roadkill? An owl, for example. I would not eat an owl, but I have eaten roadkill before. Moose, caribou. A lot of the time. Actually, I'm on the roadkill list even now, so I'm every once in a while when big rigs or we have vehicular accidents where they hit wildlife. If it's salvageable, they'll call people on that list and you have an opportunity to go out and retrieve the animal and butcher it out so it doesn't get wasted. But an owl, I don't know. Not if I knew it was an owl. I assume that it could be made delicious, but I wouldn't try it knowingly. Caribou is delicious. Caribou is one of my favorite game meats. I actually still have caribou in the freezer from the last time I got a roadkill animal. I would try that, Gertrude. 1,000 packets of MSG make anything taste delicious, right? That's how it works. Hey, Jill, good to see you. You're out for the night. I'm not sure if you caught it, but we started with your frost prompt tonight. I don't know if you were here when I did that reading, but good to see you, and I hope you have a good rest of your night. I started a little late, but I promised to replay in the morning. Can't wait to hear the frost reading. Well, I can, while you're still here, it's the first poem that I started in this notebook, so just 2 seconds. Frost for Jill. This one took us 11 minutes. Crystals forming as heat departs, a coldness known only to the Arctic and scorned lovers, carriers of those glacier hearts, radiating a freeze that all flame smothers. Frost lingers still on this mind of mine. Winter's breath touches behind my ears. A chill from every mountain peak I have yet to climb. Shivers remind me of so many fears. Tucked away behind walls of ice, if I freeze them I will never have to face a single scary thing. Oh, won't that be nice? Not realizing if I let this cold will keep me in, if I let it, this cold will keep me in place. Yeah. There. You can still rewatch it, of course, but I figured since you were here, I'd read it for you. I hope you have a good night. You're welcome. . 11313. Okay. Let's get a big happy birthday for Stony. Happy you're here with me. I don't have any candles, but I hope you make a wish, and I hope it comes true for you. This is Changing Art, or Art is the World. I have quotation marks, time, for Gertrude. This one took us 12 minutes and 47 seconds. Seasons change, canvases ripped from the easel. Where daisies sprouted outside the church, now icicles adorn the steeple. Cold blues, white speckled with bare-leafed birch. Fickle is the artist that paints one day at a time. No sooner than silvers and steels create the new and shiny, than browns and muds cover them in slime, ripping the paper away when the ground becomes too grimy. Steels turn red when time grows bored, rust eating away at the paints of old. Eventually, this artist erases all it's stored, starting again from a black canvas cold. Oh, Stony, if you have a prompt or if you want me to write a poem about something special for you, you can just post it in chat, and I add it to my prompt list, and I work through the prompt list as I'm writing poems. That's where all of these poems that I'm writing tonight come from. Good, I'm glad you like it, Gertrude. Thank you for the prompt. I liked that one. I'm going to circle this one. I'm on my last prompt that I've got stored right now. I'll be looking for a couple of more. No worries, Gertrude. I hope you have a good night. Get some sleep. Solus, is that a prompt? Beaver skins nailed to plywood? I can use that as a line for sure. I can implement that like into the poem itself. I always feel like I'm missing some context. The passage of time. Okay, I definitely missed that first pop-up. Okay, I'll put that on here. Passage of time. We can do that. Beaver skins nailed to plywood. Uh-oh, I'm killing my pen. It's too early. We can't kill the pen yet. It's not allowed. Oh no, you've got lots left. What are you doing? Why are you acting up on me? Passage of time, and this is for Stony. This is your birthday. So I'll do that one right as soon as I'm finished with this one, Stoney. I've got this one that I just started for Jon Snow the Cat, and then I'll move on to The Passage of Time for your birthday poem. What has my life come to? I'm writing a poem about a cat I've never met, and it's making me laugh. You have to enjoy the simple things. Okay, we'll time that. 1:23:07. Okay, we've got, this is for Jon Snow the cat. Angie. I've never met this cat, and I didn't really ask for any clarifying details, so I went with it with what I know a little bit about, oh, hey, there we go. He's not just a cat. He's a way of life and my soulmate. Well, I hope that you like what I've done. This is Jon Snow the cat, quotation marks, cats and tats. You have a legacy even I have heard of, a mighty fur coat to stave off winter. In your feline life, have you again found love, or is your heart still made of frozen splinters? Atop your wall with hordes of nip, gazing into the very soul of any human foolish enough to slip and trespass a little too close to your food bowl. Cry out loud, let free your roar, even as you now bear whiskers instead of a beard. You're still king of the north and have earned the right to be feared. I went more with the Jon Snow than the cat, but tried to make it about a cat too, so hopefully that did justice. I made him right terrifying in my own thoughts. Alright, we're done with that one. And this is for Stony. We have The Passage of Time. I'm glad you think so. I hope that Jon Snow likes it. I'll start with this one at 125.15. Hey, Main Lane. Thank you. I like my beanie too. It's my favorite hat. Has been for a lot of years. That's cool. I appreciate Jon Snow. The cat, YouTube. Don't recommend Game of Thrones content to me. I'm talking about the cat. Blaze King, what made you get sober? I had a very low moment, if we're talking about the moment that I decided to truly pursue it and mean it. This is kind of some backstory there associated with it, but I got a DUI. I went through a year of sobriety counseling, and I wasn't allowed to drink alcohol for a year. After that year was up, I went back to drinking almost the day of, like the day I could, the day I got my red stripe off my license, I went back to drinking. I was being, quote unquote, better about it for a while. I wasn't allowing myself to get into my old habits as much as I was, but as with all substance abuse, you eventually slip and slip and slip and slip. And over the next 3 years, I found myself worse than I was before, allowing myself to drink and drive, allowing myself to drink on moments where I shouldn't be. And I got to the point where one day I woke up to go to work. I was all of my tools and all of my things were where they were supposed to be. I'd taken them out of my pockets. I hung my keys up. I had no idea how I got home. I did not remember opening the door. I didn't remember getting there. And all of my stuff had made it right to where it was supposed to go. So I had this moment of realization that, like, I had been doing it so frequently that even blacked out, I was operating on autopilot, and that terrified me. I didn't remember how I got to where I was, and I'm fortunate in the fact that when I did get my DUI, I didn't hurt anybody, I didn't hurt myself, and I'm not willing to risk that again. I had that self-realization moment after the fact, and I will not do it again. I am not a person that can just have one. I am not a person that can just have a couple. I'm 30 right now. I'll be 31 this summer. But I've been basically a daily drinker, or I was a daily drinker from the time I was about 16. And I got really, really shitty at it when I was like 19, 20, 21. And it eventually boiled to the point where I was drinking a lot. When I got my DUI, I blew a .27. And that night, I signed myself out of the drunk tank. Like I wrote my name and signed myself out. Called myself a cat. Like I was operating as a perfectly functional human. I had a candid conversation with the troopers that arrested me. But like I said, I blew a .27. Like I had no business doing what I was doing. And that low spot that I was at, this was just last winter, last fall, I had that moment. That day at work, I sat in my work truck after work, and I've told this story a couple of times. I'm sorry for any repeats for those of you in chat that have heard this a few times, but I sat in my truck after work and I wrote myself a letter. I wrote drunk me a letter, and I basically drug myself through the mud, and I made sure that I knew just how much alcohol was keeping me from achieving and how much I was allowing it to take hold and take control of my life. And I scathed myself. I drug myself through the rocks, through the mud, and I made sure that I wrote everything down in such a way that I had to read it. I knew that there was a case of beer in my camper where I was at, and I made myself promise I was going to tape that letter to the top of that case of beer, and if I wanted one, I had to read it. I had to read that letter and still want a beer afterwards. And that's what made me, that moment, that blackout night, is what made me decide to do it for real. And I write poetry to process my emotions, and it helped me with my sobriety. I've written a book about my time in substance abuse and getting sober and the aftermath of that. Poetry is a wonderful tool, so my channel here is me showcasing that and just kind of talking about it, being transparent. I think that a lot of sobriety stigmatism or stereotypes is shut the fuck up about it, and that's not what I plan to do. I think that it's a perfectly reasonable thing to talk about, and we should talk about it more. Sorry for monologuing a little bit. I've been sober since my DUI. That's awesome. I mean, that's awesome. I hope that I can't be judgmental about it because I was counting the fucking seconds down to when I could buy booze again when I was on my year sober, because I couldn't cheat, I couldn't buy it, and I didn't have anybody that was low enough to provide it for me in that time frame. But I hope that the sobriety has been a good time for you and your cats, and I really do. Hey DJ, good to see you. I'm glad you could make it. Yeah, exactly, Stoney. The addiction will say just a little bit. It's just a little. Like you've been good. Reward yourself, and I can't do that. I cannot. I spent 9 months in rehab, but cheated throughout. Like a live-in center, Blaze, or just on your own or in private practice? Druid, I'm not sure what you're asking. Where is Jay? My sister passed away. She was my mom too, and I went on a horrible week binge. Ended up. Oh man. I'm so sorry to hear that, Ange. That's. Yeah. So my DUI was, it was not my sister, but it was one of my very close friends that had chosen not to be part of this world anymore. And I was dealing with that grief when I got my DUI. I didn't want to be at home alone and drink, so I went out to the bar. I didn't usually drink at the bar, and socially awkward individual in crowds. Like, I don't like crowds for the most part. And I was already there to not be alone and drink, so I started drinking. And I was dealing with grief, and yeah, I'm glad that nobody got hurt, and I'm glad that your sober journey has been a good one. I'm sorry for all of that darkness. I really am. Yeah, DJ, I remember we were talking about the board drinking. That's not drinking tonight. Going to start with day one, hopefully successfully this time. That's awesome. Day one is hard. Proper planning does a lot for it, for sure. My first week was absolutely miserable for me. I treated myself a little bit like a masochist and refused to pour the beer out that was in my camper because I wanted to read that letter so many times. So I sat next to it for a long time. And like, it's a little torturing, and I wouldn't recommend doing that to anybody else, but that is what I did. And it was hard. It did not have to be as hard as I made it, but like I said, the aversion therapy works for the house. And for the first week, I was being very unkind to myself with my sobriety. I was being very picky, like not picky as in choices, but just like picking at myself, at my mental, at my failures, and I was being very unkind to myself in general. So I would not recommend that. But planning for a day one and taking those proper precautions and setting up things to help yourself be successful can go a long way, man. Like, I think that you can do it. We've talked about it, and it sounds like you're in the right trajectory. Like, seriously. I'll be thinking about you, and I'm gonna try and do another one of these streams. I might just start trying to do them most evenings, at least just to check in, even if it's just for a little while. But I do the good morning check-ins every day. If you need some support or want to check in or talk, you've got my email. You can reach out. Like, you're not alone. It's the one thing I want everybody to know with this. They're not alone. Oh, I don't. What did I... I don't think you were being insensitive. I didn't interpret it that way. Cody says, never count the days. I disagree with you wholeheartedly, with my whole heart. I will die on that hill. That's one of the things that people have said to me basically since the beginning, and I have a copy-paste response saved in my notes for that stuff. But yeah, I think that I will never stop counting. And I've written a poem about why I count and how it helps me, and as a response piece to the people that say, that's fine. I think that having that different perspective, and I am not nearly as renowned, and I will never be as popular as, I forget the dude's name, Tony something. He's been on a couple of podcasts, got a very deep voice, and I think he did an episode with like Theo Vaughn, and he talks about, why are you counting? Like, don't count. You're not that person anymore. And it's very easy to get caught up in that mentality, and he makes a very good social media point, and he talks about it, and it hits, it's a buzzword for a lot of people. Like, he does a very good point of demonstrating that that's not you. Why are you thinking about it that way? And why are you counting? So my method of sobriety is not that black and white. It's not that I'm not that person anymore. I was that person. I still am that person. That person has grown into the person that I am today. So I count. I used to count how many, I wrote a poem about what I used to count when I was drunk and drinking, and it's a thing with my brain. I like to count the things. So I would advise everyone, do what works for you with sobriety, especially. Don't say never count the days. You do not want to count the days yourself. That's totally fine. But yeah, losing track can be good if you don't think about it. Sure. Like, eventually, if you don't keep track, you will lose track. That's how it should work, right? But I count. I'm going to count for as long as I can remember to do it. And I don't know. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent, and I think that what you feel about sobriety and how you pursue it is perfectly reasonable. I'm not trying to convert anybody to my way of thinking. I'm simply asking to not tell other people how to do it if they're doing something that works for them. Yeah, that's not the best advice either. Like, just don't buy it. Like, it's not that simple. If you know you're going to go to the grocery store and you know that you're going to be exposed to it and you know you're going to want it, my advice is like Pick Click. If you can order your groceries for pickup and you don't actually have to go in the store, or if you have somebody to go with you, that is something that I would advise. It's not as easy as just not buying it. Like, it's not, especially if your proximity is low, like you live close to the store. It's an easy thing for your brain to be like, oh, it's right there. I can just go get it. Like, I don't even have to drive. I can walk. Your mind will try to justify to you all of the easy reasons why you should go get it, because your brain wants that chemical reaction. That is the addiction. That is the substance that your brain is wanting withdrawals talking to you in those moments. And I think being able to identify that and being aware of what's happening is a big game changer. At least it was for me. I have, I monologued for quite a while. I'm sorry about that. Just love watching you and your channel. I'm thankful for your beautiful poem about my Jon Snow, and he's the king of the north. So grateful for you. I'm very lucky for all the beautiful days ahead. Thank you, Hench. I appreciate that kindness. I was happy that I got to share a poem for you and your cat. What did I miss here? Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, Stony. I know how that goes. Yeah. Oh man. I'm sorry for your brother's loss, or for your loss, for your brother. Man. Good night, Ange. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a good rest of your night. Man, that's a long time. I went for a big stretch of time with not seeing my dad, but not recently. I've tried to build a relationship back with him, but kind of a similar situation to Stony. It's hard. Somebody inactive. I won't say active, but battles with it a lot. Okay, that one was probably the longest one I've streamed so far. That was a 25-minute-er. But there was a lot of talking there, so I don't feel too bad about that. This is Passage of Time, the prompt from Stony. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Stony. My parents' divorce was a direct result of that. Ended up spending a lot of time with my family on my mom's side. I didn't see my dad for a long time. From like 7 to 17, I think I saw him 2 or 3 times. I don't remember when it became official, but 7 was when we didn't live together as a family. But I don't actually know what year they actually made it paperwork official. But anyway, Passage of Time, poem for Stony. This one we took 25 minutes on. I got a little distracted, did some long monologuing, and answered some questions. But I wish clocks didn't click as the seconds slipped by, constant reminders of moments gone. As we crest over the hill, the other side gets so slick. Minutes turn millennia, memories fade away to starlight. Best to not worry about this dilemma. Save those worries for another night. Cherish the days as they greet you. Feel each sunrise on your face. The hours will eclipse us before we begin anew. Dust upon comets soaring through space. Yeah. I was 17, he was trying to get out child support. Kind of weird. Thanks, Tony. Thank you for the prompt. Okay, I think that might be... the only prompt I've got left is beaver skins nailed to plywood, and I wanted to get some clarification on that one. Is this... I'm not sure what was happening. Is that a prompt? Is this a line? What am I doing with this beaver skins nailed to plywood, Solus? Oh, I gotcha, DJ. Okay, I'm with you now. I don't know of how child support works in other states, but Alaska, they take the driver's license away of the whichever party's not making payments. It's like a punishment system. And my dad lost his driver's license as a result of that. So I was still a teenager. I stayed with him one of the summers when I was like 16. So either 15 or 16, I was working part-time while I was up there visiting him. And we came up with this plan for him to get his driver's license back, because he didn't make any money. I've talked about it a little bit on stream, but my dad has various physical disabilities. He deals with Dupuytren's contractures and can't utilize his hands very well. He can't walk a whole lot. He can walk, but then he has to kind of rest and recuperate. And we had this, well, I probably shouldn't talk about it because we're on the internet, but the idea was you have to make 12 consecutive payments to get your driver's license reinstated, or at least this is how it worked at the time. I don't know if it's still this way. This was 15 years ago. I was going to help with those payments in an effort to get my dad's driver's license back, and it's just this big convoluted go rope that is child support. I'm happy that the system exists to help the families that actually make use of it, but my personal experience as the child in the situation was it made it very difficult for my dad to make money. Alaska has a lot of stuff really far apart, and like where he lives where he lived at the time was like 18 miles out of town. And if you take somebody's driver's license away, there's no public transportation in rural communities in Alaska. Like you can't go catch the bus and get a ride into town. You can, but it's like once a week. They do the mail bus or the old folks bus that goes into town for some of those communities. But yeah, DJ, it's been a pretty strained relationship. I spent a lot of my childhood not understanding why the divorce happened in the first place, and I had this hero image painted in my mind of my dad, which, I mean, it's your dad. That's for me, that was my hero. And meeting as a teenager, you just have these veiled images. And as an adult, like, yeah, I love my dad very much. And I have had to distance myself from what's going on there. So that just kind of sucks. It's a shitty thing to like swallow and really admit to yourself. But yeah, or to strangers on the internet. But oh, I don't know if anyone else thinks this is cool, but I bought a pencil sharpener, and I can sharpen pencils now. I used to just use my knife, but I really like the sound that the pencil sharpener makes. Even though I write my poems with a pen, so it doesn't make much sense. No, I think that's a good thing. I think being there for your kids is awesome. I have a lot of respect for that. I would say I'm less close now than I was at that point of my life, if that is any clarity for it. Like, I talk to my dad maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. And the last time I got a phone call, not the last time, but one of the more recent times I got a phone call, and it was, "Hey, I'm on my way to the ER. Will you come see me?" It's like, cool. Thanks for the heads up. Yes, but like, what the hell? I'm sorry to hear that, DJ. But I will say that the advice of just don't buy it is trash advice. So I would say that that's not, you're not missing any sage advice there as far as your pursuit of your sobriety journey. But it does suck that the relationship just is strained. That sucks a lot. I feel for that. Oh. Okay, I'm on. Oh, I missed a prompt earlier. Oh no, you're good. It's not being a downer. I'm getting tired. We're coming up on 3 hours, 160 minutes, so I'm 20 minutes off of 3 hours on stream. So we're doing good. I had a pretty long day at work. Just trying to. Yeah, it's a heavy topic, but I don't think you need to apologize for anything. Debbie Downer. No. It's all good. How much better do I feel? That's a tough question, Blaze King. I feel immensely better, but at the same time, feeling the emotions that I've been suppressing was not a pleasant experience when I first did it. Like, this most recent Christmas was my first Christmas sober in 11 years. 10 years. No, 11 years. And holidays have never been a I'm not a happy person. I do not have very many happy Christmas memories, and holiday memories have just always been kind of a shit show for me emotionally and mentally. So I used to just get blackout drunk and wake up on New Year's, effectively, not literally, but that this most recent Christmas was my first one sober, like I said, and dealing with those emotions in that moment felt terrible. Like feeling them and processing them and trying to identify why I feel so shitty feels bad. But on the other side of that coin, being able to feel them and actually process them and feel through that and not numb it or dumb it down with alcohol or any other thing felt amazing. Like an actual milestone for me as a person. Like I haven't allowed myself to do that before. Like, and that felt awesome. Like I feel very good about that, and it's one of the things that I picked up in alcohol counseling and then just kind of forgot about until I tried to pursue sobriety seriously. It's identifying the why. Identifying why you're feeling the way you are and actually sitting down with it and letting that feeling sit with you. Do I have more energy? Yeah, I think that it's not... I don't notice it myself because the change has been gradual for me. But the big change, like looking at pictures of myself from when I first started and now, is like in the morning when I do my videos, I look like a functional human being now, not like I just rolled out of bed. I mean, even in my good morning check-ins where I've got like my hair's fucked up and it's like 12 p.m., I look like a normal person. I don't look like a swollen pimple with a beard like I used to look. And yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right, Stony. You don't properly mourn. You don't properly feel. You just mask it. You cover it up, and you don't really process that shit. That's what especially alcohol. Like you just hide it. You don't know. You don't want your body to feel that intense emotion, so you just numb it down, make it manageable, and then forget about it until you don't anymore, and then you have to numb it down again, and it just gets worse. Thank you, DJ. I've tried very much in the last, I don't know, couple of years, even when I was still drinking. Alcohol counseling did a lot for me understanding the why, but I've tried in my relationship and my personal, like, romantic life, open communication and talking about why we're feeling the way we're feeling and working through things communicative wise has been a very big milestone for my partner and I. And I've carried that over into my internal monologue and being just transparent with myself. Like, why do I feel this? No, so I got my DUI in 2018, and I was sober for a year, court ordered. I was not allowed to consume any alcohol. The day that I was allowed to start drinking again in 2019, I started drinking again, and I drank consistently and got worse and worse and worse over the next 4 years, and 4 years, and then I stopped. I went sober December 12th of 2023 was my day one. It's also the same day that I published Rise. The day that my book was published was my own, this is my day one, which is pretty funny considering the circumstances that led up to it. The actual day one was a little, like, it was supposed to be later in the year, but I had that experience with the letter and the writing and how I felt about it, and I wanted to remember it forever. So even if I do get to a point where I'm not counting and I forget the days, it's posted in my book's publication date. So I can't forget, even if I do forget. 140 days today too. As of this morning, 140. Yeah, they can, at least in Alaska, I don't know about other states, but in Alaska state, they can just take it, they can restrict your ability to purchase alcohol. I appreciate you, Blaze King. I'm doing my best to be someone that fulfills that I don't know if I'm worth following or being more like, but I'm doing my best to be the best version of myself. So I appreciate that. So I'm self-published. I worked on my book on and off and lost motivation in it for a long time. I don't have any like contract with publishing companies or anything. I printed my book myself to start with, and then after I demonstrated proof of concept for myself, I moved it over to Amazon with KDP, and it's available there for purchase. Yeah, so and like what Stoney said, yep, it's on Amazon. There's a link to it on my channel page. If you go to BYG Poetry's channel page in the Abouts section, there's a couple of links there. One of those links should take you to the book page. It's called Rise, Echoes of Healing and Hope. Back to what Stoney said, they'll do whatever they want. I had to, I got a red stripe, so no alcohol purchased, and it wasn't allowed to be in my residence. For 12 months, they could come to my residence whenever they wanted, knock on my door and say, hey, we're here to look for alcohol, and you can't say no. You have to let them in. If you say no, it's the exact same thing as if they caught you drinking. So that was for 12 months. 6 of those 12 months, I had to have a breathalyzer installed in my vehicle. I wasn't allowed to drive for the first 3 months. So I had somebody else drive my car in to get the breathalyzer installed so I could get those 6 months worked through, because I had to have the breathalyzer installed for 6 months. You pay the service fees for the breathalyzer being installed, which is every month it has to go in and get recalibrated. And every week you have to do a remote test where they call you on the phone and you hit the breathalyzer with them connected to it. So, oh, DJ, thank you. I'll never think that you're being a kiss ass, man. Like, I appreciate the kindness, and I like being able to talk to you the way that we've talked. Like, I appreciate that a lot. So my breathalyze amount did factor into some of the stipulations and some of the timelines. Like, the reason I had to be in counseling for a year was because of what I blew. If you blew less than 0.15, you don't have to do the full 12 months. It's just 6 months. But because of what I blew, I went into that next category. So it wasn't an aggravated, or like, it wasn't like a felony or anything, but yeah, it wasn't cheap. I mean, it all in all, I had enough time stacked up from work to, I was on PTO for, so I went on house arrest when it first happened. I was on house arrest for, I don't remember if it was 6 or 7 days, but it was basically a week of house arrest where they put you in a little ankle monitor and they come in and check on you twice in that time frame, and they don't tell you when. You have to pay for that out of pocket. And then I had to pay for the install and the service fees for the breathalyzer thing on my car. I had to pay the counseling stuff, for like my counselor dates and my appointments were all out of pocket. and then all of the stuff to get my license reinstated. And I had a CDL at the time, so it was expensive, like lost time from work and all the extra bullshit was, but it wasn't bullshit. Like I fucked up. I needed that seriously. Man. Druid, I don't know what you're caught up on the laundry thing. Like, I left to go get my laundry forever ago, man. I've been back for a long time. I'm not matching socks. I'm not folding laundry. I'm sitting right here talking to you, reading your laundry comments. Actually, let me see. I believe I have a copy of my book in my camper. We can do a reading if people are interested in it. I'll give you a little sampler. This is the cover art for Rise. The little boy trapped in the balloon. But let's see. We'll read one from the back where it gets a little better. This one is called Bloom, and it's from my book, Rise. People are plants, or so I've been told, needing water and sun on a timeline, separated only by emotions, bold, but I've never felt love from a pine. Is the language of the woods all its own, or could I learn it if I listened close? Does the grass cry out when freshly mown, whispering a song of loss across the willow boughs? I've rejoiced while dancing in the rain, feeling sadness pour from the gutters of my soul, cleansed of remorse, doubt, and pain, never thinking of the flower's fragile emotional control. How could I cast these things into the dirt, filling the world around me with gloom? How do they grow through the hurt? Is there a chance I might still bloom? Yeah, but it's a cute book. I mean, it's a cute book. It's got some cute pictures. So it's broken up into segments, and this is my poem of day one. And it's kind of when I started sobriety, and the picture is like showing a circle of chairs. It talks about my time when I was in therapy. I did not illustrate it myself. I had actually one of my friends, my real IRL friends, does art. If you are on TikTok at all, her handle is Bird Ninja. She does a lot of bird art, but she does some wonderful illustrations. She did those chairs, and then I started doing my poetry and doing like spoken word stuff. I had her do a drawing of me when I was up doing like a slam poetry session. This was before I had a beard, so it was just a long time ago. Hey, Amazee. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, Rise is out on Amazon. I'll probably go back in the description and put a link to this in this video, but it's also linked on my channel page. Maybe that's what I can start doing that, like reading one poem from Rise on stream. I haven't had a prompt come through in a while, but isn't it mandatory in Alaska to have a beard at all times? I mean, I don't think it's a mandatory thing. We have a pretty large military presence up here. There's a lot of people that don't have any facial hair, or they've got the little pencil mustache. It is a good book. I enjoyed it. I appreciate you, Trevor. Thank you. Have you had bear encounters? I have had my fair share of bear encounters. Black bear is one of my favorite game meats. I have hunted bear. I have been close enough to a bear to shoot it in the ear with my sidearm. I had a bear bait station for a long time out at one of my off-grid, well, not one of my off-grid property. We had a bear bait station. So like, yeah, I've had a, yeah, oh yes, I've had non-intentional bear encounters as well. Usually you can be pretty aware, or at least black bear, they're gonna run away. I told a story earlier on stream actually. I was at work and I came around the back side of my work truck and a black bear came around the front and we saw each other at about the same time and he just took off immediately. Prompt is John Wayne. Oh man. Okay. That is a good one, and this one's for Cody. So John Wayne is my dad's favorite cowboy. Oh, yeah, you can actually buy bear spray. It's not like a hornet spray or anything. It's not like bug spray or raid or anything. It's like pepper spray. Like it's super intense, like too potent to use on people pepper spray. It's to spray the bear in the face. But I have bear sprayed myself before. That sucks. Would not recommend. Okay, John Wayne for Cody. And we're starting this one at 177.40. There's a juvenile lockup here in North Alabama, and guards carried bear spray type stuff. I only saw it used once, and it was like 100 feet away, and I had to get in the door and breathe through my blanket. Yeah, that sounds like bear spray. That stuff sucks. It is. I mean, I think even the stuff you buy over the counter here is like, I think it sprays up to 40 feet. Like, and that's not the law enforcement grade stuff. That's just the shit you buy at like Walmart in the camping section. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, with the shotgun lamp. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. God. There's still steak on that plate. That's just gristle and fat. It's on the plate. Gosh diggity darn. It says, I have a prompt idea. Joy. Okay. I will add joy. I'm on to my second index card. Awesome. We'll do joy right after we do this. John Wayne. Thank you for the prompt. It is the Kirkland brand of LaCroix. It is just Kirkland sparkling water. I actually bought a case of LaCroix while I was in town this last weekend, and I left it in my personal truck when I swapped over into the work rig this morning. So I'm finishing up the last of my Kirkland seltzers before I restock. This is what I switched to when I got rid of all the beer that I was keeping in my house and my camper. I just went to Costco and loaded up on every kind of seltzer water. Variety is key. They're pretty tasty. Like I like LaCroix a lot. Okay, Cody, we have your John Wayne prompt. Just under 10 minutes. Doing good on that. God bless. Now, are you a very big John Wayne fan? Was it a random? Was there something on TV in the background just popped into your head? Jeez, man. Perrier is good. Perrier is very good like that too. So the Kirkland seltzer water is just like $10 cheaper per case than the Perrier, and I haven't been able to notice a really identifiable difference. But I do like the bottles. I think the Perrier bottles are very iconic. Doesn't Billy Idol have a song titled John Wayne? I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up. Well, I haven't seen Cody pop back in chat, but I'm going to do a reading anyway. This is John Wayne for Cody. We wrote it in just under 10 minutes. I don't know how much you all know about John Wayne, the cowboy actor, because that's what I went with this for this poem. So, McClintock was a movie I watched often. Had a dog named Lucky Ned Pepper. I remember seeing my father's eyes soften when the young cattle hands waded across that river. So many memories filled with this cowboy. He perfected the onstage punch. Compared to all, he was a giant, the Goliath of Troy. Looking at the man, I'd say he never missed lunch. Wearing an eye patch, Rooster Cogburn charged, both hands holding rifles iconic. Even if heroes' memories are so enlarged, I'll never forget. Fill both hands, you son of a bitch. Yeah. Oh, cool. Grew up watching him. Same as me. I liked him a lot. Thank you for the prompt. I wrote down Joy, but I didn't write down the username. Gosh diggity darn, how could I forget that username? It's the GGG. GGD, I suppose. It's not gosh diggity garn. That was me. I said Joy. I found you. I had to scroll up a little bit, but I got there. Sorry for that. I usually try to write the username down when I do it the first go around, but gosh diggity darn. For Joy, and we are starting this one at 190 through 190.40. This will probably be my last poem tonight. You've given me a hard topic. Gosh. My grandma said her mom quit watching his movies when he said that famous line with son of a bitch in it because he'd become too vulgar. That's funny. That is his most iconic line to me. Like, I will never forget, like, that whole scene. That was one of our favorite movies when I was a little kid, and I was just always so excited because he cussed like that. It was pretty good. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Well, I'm sorry I haven't been very interactive tonight, Druid. We've written a lot of poems tonight, though. You guys have been awesome with the prompts. Oh, man. Well, I should be wrapping up in the next probably 10 to 15 minutes or so. I'll get this one written and do a reading and then do some wind down, say goodnight, say goodbye. I know it's late, for those of you on the East Coast. Yeah, some of his older films, he was not doing so hot. My dad liked John Wayne movies and Louis L'Amour books. I think he still has an active collection of just about every Louis L'Amour book that's been printed. That's awesome. Having an awesome therapist is a true good thing, Stony. That's awesome to hear. Absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed who I ended up having as a counselor when I was in alcohol counseling. It was nice to be treated as an actual person, not a barcode or an asset. That's time, 198.20. All right, I'm doing pretty good for that one. 7 minutes, 40 seconds. Pretty good. This is Joy for Gosh Giggity Darn. Happiness can be distilled into so many things, ingredients in their purest forms, creating a puppet show, giving me the strings. Dance with me, won't you, beneath these storms? Learning how to stomp puddles when it rains, smiling when the splashes go over my boots. In this moment, no evidence of life's pains, just an inner child pounding his shoes. Every recipe for happiness has one ingredient essential to the story. Mix it with anything less, and you'll still be able to taste the joy. Thank you, Trevor. Counting quarters is one that is from a very real place for me. That means a lot. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm trying to keep track of how long I spend, and as long as I don't get super distracted with chat, it's pretty accurate, about 10 minutes. We're doing good. I'll have to tally up how many prompts we actually did. We did 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, we did 12. We did 12 prompt poems tonight. That's pretty cool. I hope you have a good night, Gosh. Thank you for the prompt, and we'll see you in the next one. If you are still here and still tuning in, I'm about ready to sign off. If you like what I do and want to support the content, you can check out the channel. Ko-Fi page for a follow, totally free. You can see my daily posts, get a link to the Discord. If that interests you, sign up for the newsletter on the community page. All that stuff. All the links and all the things. I'll probably add them into the description of this, but they're all on the channel page. So I hope that you all have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.